Have you ever met someone who seems to notice everything? They can tell when a smile is fake, when a room feels tense, or when someone is hiding how they truly feel. People often call them too sensitive or an overthinker. But what if those traits aren't weaknesses at all? What if they were built by experiences that force the brain to adapt? Psychologists have discovered that people who grow up in emotionally challenging environments often develop extraordinary observation skills. Their brains learn to detect tiny changes in tone, body language, and behavior, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Over time, this can create a unique kind of intelligence. Not the kind measured by exams, but the kind that quietly reads people, predicts problems, and notices what everyone else misses. Here are 7 signs your difficult experiences may have shaped your mind in unexpected ways. The first sign is that you notice emotional changes before anyone says a word. You might walk into a room and instantly feel that something is different. Maybe a friend says they're fine, but something about their voice, posture, or eye contact tells a different story. You're not reading minds. Your brain has simply become extremely skilled at recognizing patterns. Researchers call this heightened awareness hypervigilance. It's a survival response that develops when the brain spends years paying close attention to emotional changes. The second sign is that your intuition often feels surprisingly accurate. Sometimes you know a relationship is changing long before anyone admits it. You sense tension before conflict begins. You feel that something isn't right even when you can't explain why. This isn't magic. Your brain is processing hundreds of tiny signals outside of conscious awareness. While other people focus only on words, your mind is also collecting tone of voice, facial expressions, pauses, body language, and subtle behavioral changes. When enough of those signals line up, your intuition speaks before logic catches up. The third sign is that you think deeply about people's behavior. Instead of asking, "What did they do?" you ask, "Why did they do it?" You naturally search for hidden motives, emotional patterns, and the reasons behind people's actions. This kind of thinking often develops because your brain learned early that understanding people could help you avoid conflict or disappointment. Over time, curiosity becomes second nature. You don't just observe behavior, you analyze it. And sometimes that ability allows you to understand people better than they understand themselves. The fourth sign is that you feel other people's emotions almost as if they were your own. When someone close to you is hurting, you don't simply understand their pain, you experience it. A stranger's story can stay with you for hours. A tense conversation can drain your energy even if you weren't involved. Psychologists describe this as high emotional empathy. While empathy is a strength, it can also become exhausting when your brain struggles to separate your emotions from everyone else's. That's why highly empathetic people often need quiet time to recharge. It's not because they dislike people. It's because their minds rarely stop processing emotional information. The fifth sign is that success can sometimes feel strangely uncomfortable. You work hard toward a goal. Everything finally starts going well. Then, for reasons you can't fully explain, you hesitate. You delay making a decision. You doubt yourself. Or you convince yourself that things probably won't work out anyway. This isn't always a lack of confidence. Sometimes the brain simply feels safer with what's familiar, even if what's familiar isn't healthy. Real growth often feels uncomfortable because your nervous system is learning that peace doesn't have to be temporary. The sixth sign is that you're constantly searching for meaning. You don't just move through life. You analyze it. Why did that conversation affect me? Why do certain people make me feel safe? Why do I react differently than everyone else? Your mind naturally looks for patterns because making sense of experiences became part of how you adapted. Psychologists have found that many people grow significantly after difficult experiences. They often develop greater emotional insight, stronger self-awareness, and a deeper appreciation for purpose. The final sign is that you're incredibly self-aware, but change still feels difficult. You can recognize your habits. You understand where they came from. You know which thoughts are helpful and which ones hold you back. Yet sometimes you still repeat the same behaviors. And that's more common than most people realize. Understanding yourself is an important first step, but lasting change usually happens through new experiences repeated over time. The brain doesn't transform overnight. It slowly rewires itself through practice, patience, and healthier patterns. If you recognized yourself in several of these signs, remember this. Being highly aware doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It may simply mean your brain adapted to challenges in remarkable ways. Those same abilities that once helped you survive can also help you build stronger relationships, make wiser decisions, and understand people on a much deeper level. The goal isn't to erase the way your mind works. It's to learn when those instincts are protecting you, and when they're holding you back. Because once you understand the difference, you stop seeing yourself as broken. You begin to see yourself as someone whose mind learned to survive, and is now learning how to truly thrive. If you enjoyed this video and want more psychology content that helps you understand yourself and others, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments.